garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Interrupt you for a moment. Stand by for a moment. Trump is answering some questions from reporters.
Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace.
President Trump, you said the other day that the military would be.
What is up, guys? Thanks for rocking with me. Really appreciate you guys. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. We are live. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to everybody. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. Shout out to everybody watching. Again, let me see who's in the chat. What's up, Steph, Rob, My Mind, Tom, Roberto, what's up? Thelma, happy Halloween, she says. So CNN, I was a little busy yesterday, so I didn't have the opportunity to jump on this, but CNN had to cut the feed. They had to cut the feed and go immediately to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump shows up like this. You know, he is a master troll. I can't, like, when I saw this when I was driving home, I was like, no, he freaking didn't. No, he did not. He gets off the tarmac and jumps into a garbage truck. We remember Trump is just a master at the trolling. We remember when he did this at McDonald's. I honestly, this has been one of the most memorable presidential campaigns. I feel it. It's going down in the history books as the campaign of pure genius and marketing on so many levels. How many of you guys agree with that? Yeah. Trump won meme of the year for sure. For sure. He just voted today. Awesome. Awesome. We remember when Trump did this at McDonald's.
Mr. Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all.
And then that's good. We're going to bring them over directly to this one.
All right.
When I saw him do this at McDonald's, I was like, there's no way that he can top this. There's absolutely no way that he can top this. He's frying fries at McDonald's.
Very good.
How are you? What a beautiful thousands of people. Hello. How are you?
Giving out fries at McDonald's. I was like, there's absolutely no way that he can top this. And then he does it. He tops it. He absolutely tops it. Before we jump into that, I got to jump into the reason why he topped this, right? This all stemmed from a comment from Joe Biden calling over 50% of Americans, Trump supporters per se, garbage. He called them garbage. And on The View yesterday, Whoopi played the clip. And I want you guys to listen closely to this. When Whoopi played the clip of Joe Biden, the crowd, listen to what the crowd says.
President Biden got a lot of blowback over these particular comments about who's Madison Square at his rally, what went on. So the president, current president, said something and then everybody lost their minds. Take a look.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Did you guys hear the gasp from the crowd after Joe Biden said that?
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable.
You know that you effed up when the View's crowd When the crowd of The View gasps, they're like, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said that. So Donald Trump, doing Donald Trump things, went on an absolute troll fest yesterday. Shout out to Vivek and Benny Johnson also, because they went on a troll fest as well. Vivek picked up some trash with some garbage, you know, with the trash man. But here is what happened. CNN was on a live feed and they were like, hold up. Trump's trolling. We got to cut it. We got to go to Trump.
For a moment, stand by for a moment. Trump is answering some questions from
Joe
reporters.
Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace.
President Trump, you said the other day that the military would be
Interrupt you for a moment.
Crazy. They cut the feed to go to Donald Trump in a garbage truck. And shortly after that, they came back to the feed and libs were freaking out. They were like, I can't believe he did this.
Green Bay for us. Kristen, what's your analysis based on what we just heard from Trump?
Wolf, my analysis is exactly what we talked about before. They are trying to milk this for every single drop that they can. They want this to turn into what happened in 2016 when Hillary Clinton said that Trump supporters were a basket of deplorables. I cannot stress enough how we have spent the last 3 days, which has been reiterating, going over these racist, vile remarks that we heard in the pre-programming leading up to Donald Trump taking the stage. We have talked about how Puerto Ricans have been pulling back from Donald Trump, how they have been calling for him to issue an apology, how that he has not condemned those remarks in any way. Now he has flipped the script. He is trying to change the narrative and he is trying to latch on to these garbage comments to try to drive people out to polling places so that they cast their ballots and get everyone who was already somewhat interested in him more energized in getting to the polls.
All right, Kristen, stand by. We'll get back to you.
You know, I said this yesterday. I said, you know, that comment from Joe Biden is going to drive more people to the polls than the Tony Hinchcliffe comment, right? It's the Tony Hinchcliffe comment, you know, I don't want to beat it up, but it was a joke. He's a roast comedian, whatever. But as you can see on the screen here, all of these things, iconic images from Donald Trump's campaign, absolutely epic. And libs, they're like, I can't believe he's doing this. I can't believe that he went in a garbage truck. And Donald Trump goes on stage in Wisconsin in a safety vest. He goes on stage in a safety vest.
Thank you very much. So this outfit, you know, is when he called us all garbage. How stupid. What a stupid word. That blows deplorable away, don't you think? Of course, I thought irredeemable when she said deplorable or irredeemable. I thought irredeemable was actually worse, but deplorable seemed to catch up. But this garbage stuff blows it away. So I'm in this beautiful plane. I'm enjoying myself. Have a wonderful suit on. And one of my people came in and said, sir, you know, the word garbage is the hottest thing right now out there. The hottest thing out there. Sir, would you like to drive a garbage truck? Now, we're about, 30 minutes from landing. We had to do this pretty quick. I said, it's sort of cool, though, isn't it? Because, and I said, I think that's okay. But, I don't feel comfortable wearing a suit. And they pulled up this garbage truck. I don't know how the hell they did it so fast. I have very capable people. They put a big sign on the truck. Did you see it? I think they showed it. Yeah. And then they said, sir, we have a vest. I said, well, should I leave my suit on and put it over the vest? But that doesn't look very good, right? That doesn't look good. So I said, all right, look, let me take it off. And then I actually said, I climbed into the truck, but so I said, how the hell do you get into this truck? It's way up high. It's a big one. This was a beauty. I said, you didn't have to buy it that big, right? You have to get it that big. They brought this brand new, gorgeous truck, wonderful driver. He looked like Cary Grant in his prime. You know who that is? This beautiful driver. And he drove that big thing up. And I said, man, this is bad because now I have all the cameras are all watching. Look at all the fake news. They were most of them.
He actually, prior, and we'll get into the clip of him in the truck, but actually prior to him jumping in the truck, it was wet. He had dress shoes on, I think, but he almost slipped when he opened up the door there.
Now, most of them, many of them were there, and I'm saying, oh boy, one little mistake with these guys and your political career is over. You can't even. So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing. These stupid people, they'll say, he's cognitively and physically impaired. And I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look, the first stair is like up here. I'm saying, shit. So I had the adrenaline going and I made it. I made it. And then I gave a little news conference from the front of they asked their wise guy questions and everything. And then we drove about 2 feet. I got out, got into the plane. And then I got in the car and I'm driving over here and I have this still on. And I come into the arena and I say, where's my jacket? I want to get out of this stage. And they said, it would be unbelievable if you could wear it on stage. I said,
I think this is a great move that he wore the safety vest on stage.
And I said, no way. I got 25,000 people standing outside. I got all these people here. There's no way I'm wearing it on stage. They said, oh, okay, sir. I said, get me my jacket. But if you did, it actually makes you look thinner. I said, oh. And they got me. I said, I want to wear it on stage. When they said I look thinner, I said, in that case, I'll wear it on stage. I may never wear a blue jacket again. I may go in this. They said that was the word. That was the key. Sir, you look thinner. So
somebody said this is going to be an epic Halloween costume. So this is Trump at the rally.
Saying 250 million Americans are not garbage. This week, Kamala has been comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. And now, speaking on a call for her campaign last night, crooked Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. No way. No way. And they actually mean it, even though without question, my supporters are far higher quality than crooked Joe or lying Kamala. Higher quality. Higher quality. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. That's true. You can't be president if you hate the American people, which I believe they do.
Interesting, right? Savage, epic troll moment. Shout out to Hustler for the $10 super chat. Really, really appreciate you. Shout out. Thank you so much for that. So here is Donald Trump.
And I have to begin by saying,
Here is Donald Trump getting off the tarmac in his safety vest, getting off Trump Force One in the safety vest.
250 million Americans are not garbage. This week, Kamala has been comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. And now, speaking on a call for her campaign last night, crooked Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. No way. No way. My response to Joe and Kamala.
What an epic visual right here. Trump getting off Trump Force One, soon to be Air Force One. Trump Force One getting into a garbage truck.
Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. It's true.
How iconic is that? That is epic. I cannot get over how epic that is. Where's my Trump clip here? Where is it at? I don't know if I have it. Let me see. But he holds a press conference in the garbage truck. He holds the press conference in the garbage truck. Let me pull it up real quick. I thought I had it pulled up. Sorry about that, guys. How's everybody doing today, by the way? If you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button if you kindly would. Let me see. Oh, here it is, right here. Here it is.
Coming in, but I just wanted to let you know that 250 million people, that's what I think the real number is for making America great again. 250 million, the real number. They don't think in terms of garbage, okay? They don't use terms like that, and it's a shame. And Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself if he knows what he's even doing. And she should be ashamed because she shouldn't let him do it. She's the vice president, but I assume she's acting as the president. She should never have let that happen. I hope you enjoyed this garbage truck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President.
I hope you enjoy the garbage truck, he says. Oh, man. This was one of the most, I did not think that he would be able to top the McDonald's frying French fries, and he did. He absolutely did. He completely crushed it. You know, yes, so much trolling. It's fantastic. What'd you say? I put a trash bag under my American flag. Oh, man. Now, we're going to jump into some other stuff here. We got we have a conversation on CNN regarding conversation with Bobby Kennedy being the head of the FDA.
Was on stage recently and was talking about coming into the administration is RFK Jr. He said that Trump has promised him control of the public health agencies, HHS, which would be also, CDC.
And the USDA, excuse me.
FDA, USDA, all of these agencies. Is that true? Has Trump promised him basically the HHS job?
So I spent 2.5 hours this week with Bobby Kennedy Jr. And it was the most extraordinary thing because let's face it, we've all heard on the news all sorts of sort of snarky comments about him. And I said, so tell me, how's it going to go? And he said, why don't you just listen to me explain things? And what he explained was when he was born, we had 3 vaccines and autism was 1 in 10,000. Now a baby's born with 76 vaccines because in 1986, they waived product liability for vaccines. And here's the best one. They started paying the people at the NIH, right? They pay them a piece of the money for the vaccine companies. Wait a minute, let me finish. And so all of these vaccines came out without product liability. So what happened now? Autism is 1 in 34.
Okay,
amazing.
Neither of us are doctors. Vaccines are safe. RFK, I mean,
Why do you think vaccines are safe?
Exactly.
There's no product liability anymore. They're not proven.
Kids get them and they're fine.
Why do you think they're fine?
But because they're proven scientifically to be
How about this? There was 1 in 10,000 people with autism.
testing.
We all know so many more people with autism than had it when we were young. Oh, come on.
Okay,
I mean, his point is really interesting.
But
So here's what he
vaccines don't
said.
cause autism, which is what RFK pushes, which is why people are concerned that he could get a job like HHS. And I don't even think
He's not getting a job for HHS. What he's trying to do, here's what he wants to do. He said, I want data. I just want data because they block
But the data's out there.
Wait, it's not.
They don't block it. You can look at it. It's online.
He wants the data so he can say these things are unsafe. He says, if you give me the data, all I want is the data, and I'll take on the data and show that it's not safe. And then if you pull the product liability, the companies will yank these vaccines right off of the market. So that's his point. He's not trying to do anything but things that made sense. And look,
this is not where I thought this was going because.
Well, I spent 2.5 hours.
RFK Jr. is a vaccine skeptic. He pushes lies about vaccines.
Vaccine skeptic. I got to say it presumably for the purposes of this, but vaccine skeptic is a little far-fetched. You know, there's been some significant studies regarding vax, right? And there is a significant amount of autism and increased diseases. And it's interesting how they mandate that at the time of birth for children. And it's a requirement for you to get a government job. And then also it's a requirement for schooling systems. It's a little ridiculous.
And I don't even.
Before I jump back into this video, you know, I had been to Peru probably 3 times, and I've never been a huge proponent of vax, right? And when I went to Peru, I didn't do that either.
I think if
Why do you
Republicans
think he pushes lies? Why you said you said I'm not a scientist and you aren't. So
but
he just wants
scientists
data.
say he pushes lies. But here's my
scientists
question
were
on this.
paid to say he pushes lies. I mean, let's give him the data. I think it'd be pretty cool to give him the data. Let's see what he comes up with.
Okay.
I think it's pretty fun.
He pushed conspiracies about COVID. He had to apologize for tying vaccine questions to what happened in Germany during the Holocaust.
I promise you, I have not looked at all the things he said.
That anyone's looking at for
he said Roundup. Remember Roundup?
But you're saying he would not be in charge of HHS?
No, of course not.
Okay, so he's not going to be
He's
like
not going to be the secretary. No.
Well, he couldn't get confirmed, but would he be in an acting position or anything like that?
I just told you what he wants. He wants to help get data.
You're saying he wants
so
access to data, but
he just wants data, and he wants to prove things are wrong. And he says, if I can't prove them,
this is why mainstream media is flailing. It's flailing. They're so biased. It's crap. It's garbage, right? I know a lot of you guys have kids in the chat. What are you guys' thoughts on mandating vax for kids to go to school? And then also, you know, when they were pushing this thing for C-19, a lot of people lost their job because they didn't want to do the jab. They didn't want to do the jab. Government people, military service members, they didn't want to do it, and they lost their job.
His comments, seemingly describing Trump supporters as, quote, garbage. The Harris campaign is trying to downplay the effect of those comments. Of course they are. But I wonder if you think that those comments are going to move voters.
It's going to be huge because this is not some comedian saying something stupid and offensive at a rally where he should have been basically disinvited. This is the president of the United States endorsing his vice president saying something. And I know that there's different interpretations about what he said. It's still inappropriate. You still shouldn't be doing it. And I've watched Trump already seize this. The basket of deplorables was significant, was meaningful in 2016. In 2024, I can promise you that this is going to drive Trump turnout. He's doing it already. I can see, I'm sure there's going to be ads on as soon as tonight about this. This may be a turning point for those final 3%, and that's all it is, who still need to be persuaded.
I see a lot of you guys in the chat are talking about the. I gotta be particular with. I'm gonna say jabs. Let's say jabs. But in regards of mandating jabs, not necessary, and I think it's ridiculous. So recently, JD Vance went on the Joe Rogan podcast, which should be released possibly today. But he said something epic at his rally that he was hosting with Tulsi Gabbard.
We're thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be in Pennsylvania. We actually recorded an episode of Joe Rogan this morning. So we started out in Austin, Texas. And we're closing out.
How long was it, JD? How long were you in Rogan?
Almost 4 hours. Almost 4 hours. So I've officially done more interview time than Kamala Harris has the entire campaign just today. So we're look,
Originally, those of you that are new, when JD Vance first came on the scene, I was kind of iffy on JD, especially when he first showed up and they pressed him, and he didn't have his bearings yet. And then shortly after he started doing more pressers, I was very impressed with JD, and I still continued to be impressed with JD. I think he was a great pick. Jenny X something says, I'm excited for the JD Vance interview with Joe Rogan. I am too. That's going to be a very good interview. Anytime that JD Vance is in front of press or podcasts, he does absolutely amazing. He does amazing. Hustler asked, did you hear about Kamala wanted to Yeah, I guess Joe Rogan, they wanted her to fly. They wanted Joe Rogan to fly to an area where Kamala Harris was. They wanted to do an hour. But the whole point of the Joe Rogan experience is to do the Joe Rogan experience in studio, unlimited time, no handlers in the studio, where he can just have a conversation. And that makes the Joe Rogan experience the Joe Rogan experience. And it's crazy to me that they only wanted to do an hour. An hour is not enough to really get to connect with somebody. Trump did what? Almost 3 hours. JD did 4 hours. Some of these podcasts that he does with Graham Hancock are 3.5, 4 hours, and they're very in depth. So I'm going to jump into this real quick. This is I don't know what they have on Mark Cuban. I don't know what they got on Mark Cuban, but Mark Cuban is he's out there now. What is going on with Mark Cuban? Shout out to everybody that just dropped into the chat. Shout out to everybody that's just joining. If you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button. Here's Mark Cuban absolutely getting bodied on News Nation, just like he would if he was going to a Diddy party.
Dane, I love you. You're so wrong. Trump, inflation was up 25% over the Obama economy he inherited. Ask him about Yemen, where he decided not to take action and allowed 100,000 people to keep on dying in Yemen. Talk to him about his tariffs. What worked with his tariffs? He had 4 years to make tariffs work with China. China kicked his ass. China took him to court, right? Because he didn't know how tariffs worked and it hurt the economy. The economy was rolling along and it got so hit by the tariffs that his appointment to the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, had to come back in and cut interest rates 3 times. And then we get to the real point of reckoning, the pandemic. And what does he do? He says, if we don't test people, the viruses didn't really happen. He holds back on resources, except for Vladimir Putin, to keep people from getting healthy. That is not an accomplished president, Data. He has not done anything. What he got, he inherited. You know what?
All right,
His
now I gotta
administration was
jump
the
in
same
here
as his personal
with,
wealth.
some
He
course
inherited it.
I got to jump in with course corrections here. Number one, the real wages, which is really the only economic barometer for the folks, was up 8.2% in the 4 years Trump was president. 8.2 across the board for working Americans. Fact. Under Biden-Harris, it is around 1%. No COVID pandemic. They have failed. Number two, inflation didn't start because Putin and the Arabs did anything. Inflation started, and I don't know whether you know this, Mr. Cuban, but Biden signed in his first week in office at least 20 executive orders, making it harder for every fuel company to harvest their product, whether it be fracking or oil or anything. The fuel company said, holy you know what, we're going to get hosed because our prices to get the stuff out of the ground are quadrupling. So we're going to do it retail now. That's what ignited it, not Putin and not Saudi Arabia. That is the truth.
Mark's like, no, it's not true. It's not. No, Biden and Kamala did excellent. Somebody said, where is it at? Wow, how many kids did that guy, whatever, on tape? Yeah, Cuban, I don't know. Kevin O'Leary was on and destroyed Mark Cuban a couple days ago. And this is something. So do you guys remember Geraldo Rivera? He used to have a prominent show on primetime in the 90s. Kind of, I didn't even know he was, honestly, I didn't even know he was still around. I didn't even know he was still alive. But Geraldo asked Bobby Kennedy during this same presser on News Nation. And Bobby's response was probably not something that Mr. Geraldo was expecting here.
You and the president discussed how you will honor the Constitution. How can you trust President Trump to honor the Constitution when he was a sore loser last time and defied the Constitution, defied the constitutional succession, and attempted to basically stay in power despite the fact that he had lost the election? So how can you, is this the person you're making common cause to seek the constitutional nirvana? I have deep doubts about that.
Like I said, I disagree with President Trump on many things that he did during the last administration. He today has a heightened sensitivity towards censorship, towards the weaponization of the federal agencies against our democracy, to the emerging power of these totalitarian systems and totalitarian technologies, AI, facial recognition technology, low-level satellites that can look at every square inch of our country every day, all these other technologies that give totalitarian systems capacities they've never had before to monitor and control every aspect of our lives. He's sensitized to those. And I think, what happened at the end of that election, there was a peaceful transition of power. Peaceful transitions of power are a critical part of our democracy. And I disagree with a lot of things that happened there.
You don't think
I think the attacks on our Constitution over the last 4 years have eclipsed anything that happened on January 4th. I think the censorship is the largest threat to American democracy today.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and we're seeing that now, right? We're seeing that now on
You and the president.
Google. I gotta say it like that. The YT. We're seeing it. Recently, a report came out that Kamala Harris and her camp have been. I didn't have this prepped, but they've been doing the notes on the X feeds to kind of promote her own, presidential campaign and dismiss anything other than that in the community note section. Stephanie says, the mustache. Yeah, that mustache is getting crazy from Geraldo, by the way. It's it reminds me of the bad guy from Sonic. I don't know the guy's name, Professor something. Some of you guys might know. But my mind says Cuban's running for president in 2028. He might. He might. And I want to talk to Bobby's points a little bit. There was during Trump's administration, and he openly had said this on the Joe Rogan podcast, that when he first got into office at the first term, he didn't have the right people around him. And I feel now that the people around him are absolute power players. And he knows more than what he's openly stating, that, at least in my opinion, than what he's saying to the general public. And that, my friends, is, I think that is what these folks in the swamp are afraid of. Here is New Jersey Governor Murphy on CNBC. He was asked about what policies of Kamala Harris's do you like? And his response is horrific.
You like Kamala Harris, not just against. So what are, let me ask you, do you believe we should abolish the filibuster? And you can answer after I do it. How about getting rid of private insurance? How about taxing unrealized gains? How about nationalizing energy? How about mandatory gun buybacks like Australia? How about decriminalizing illegal crossings? Ending cash bail, child gender reassignment surgery being paid for in prison. I mean, what are your, raising the corporate tax rate? What are your favorite proposals from Kamala Harris that make you like her so much? Which of
Joe,
those?
for a Jersey guy, you sound like you're on the Trump campaign, for crying out loud. Come on, man.
Okay, well, which of those
you're
do you like?
cherry-picking stuff.
Which of those do you like? Which of those do you like? Which of those are you in? Are you in favor of ending the filibuster? We'll go one by one.
Yeah.
Are you?
It is. I'm not sure on the filibuster, honestly, but I think
So
getting
you're not
fair
going to
tax,
talk about any
tax rates makes
specifics
sense.
of what's that?
I said I think fair tax policy is.
What does that
sensible.
mean? Fair. What does that mean? Fair.
Fair means you pay. You pay what you should pay.
Well, I live in your state, Governor. Right? Do you think if I pay 55% total, is that fair for me, or do I need to pay 80%? What would be fair for you? Because I live in your state.
I look, Joe. I said that up front. Believe me, I know you do. But you sound like you're on the Trump campaign.
No,
I don't know what the right number is, but
go ahead, Andrew.
Well, no, I was going to say what I think is
what is
potentially unfair. Is I think that there's a number of things. There are a number of issues that were embedded in those questions of the governor just now.
He didn't answer a single one about what he's in favor of.
Well, but I think there were a number of those things that she's not in favor of. And that's
Joe,
the
hold
point.
on a second.
She's on the record on every one of these things,
Governor. Many years ago.
Guys, hold on a second. We passed a millionaire's tax 5 years ago. Everybody, Joe, including you, said it would drive people out of New Jersey. We have more millionaires today than we've ever had in our history. So tax fairness isn't necessarily a bad thing.
We have a very progressive tax system. Do you think we have a progressive tax system in the United States? Do you think it's not progressive enough, or are you talking about billionaires? I'm not sure because you know how much the 1% does pay the lion's share of taxes, of federal taxes. So what does fair mean?
Color me open-minded. How's that?
I'm sorry?
I'm open-minded. I've obviously voted with my feet. We have a millionaire's tax in New Jersey.
Would you tax
We're not
unrealized
a
gain?
low-cost state to live in, but we give you an enormous amount back for what you pay.
Are you
We're
in
the
favor
number
of
one state
taxing
in America to
unrealized
raise a
gain?
family.
But she has not made that
Not
argument.
wild.
She's made
I'm
the
not
argument.
wild
She
about
says
that.
she doesn't want to. Go ahead, Governor.
No, I'm saying I'm not wild about on unrealized gains. But I'm
What are you wild
open-minded.
about? What are you wild about? Not Trump?
Here's what I'm wild about. I'm wild about a democracy that works. I'm wild about the rich history of our country continuing for the future. I'm wild about opponents having a voice and having a seat at the table, as opposed to being thrown in jail or hunted down by our military. That's what I'm wild about.
But
he was absolutely getting destroyed here. Unrealized capital gains is a ridiculous concept of a plan. Yeah, absolutely dropping word salad. Rue Goodner said, you know, that's probably one of the main reasons why he almost didn't get reelected. 100%. I agree with that. It's crazy. These individuals can't verify or justify why Kamala Harris, what policies that they like, and they're doing the same thing like Kamala Harris with the word salads, I got a couple more for you. This right here, there's definitely something going on, and Steph had mentioned this in the Discord group. If you're not part of the Discord group, there's a link for it in the description link down below. But Steph had said this regarding the Dominion machines, and this came out yesterday.
Issues with the programming of the VATs with specifically
Yes.
from Dominion.
Mhm.
Why was that only caught in the past few days, and why can't it be fixed? I saw the release.
Yeah, this is a nationwide issue with Dominion voter access terminals in the counties that use them. And the voter access terminals, of course, not all the machines, just the ones that are accessible, have an issue with the straight party voting and a programming issue that's again affected the machines nationwide. And I think all of us that use Dominion machines were unhappy to learn about this during the testing period and as early voting began. So we're working with Dominion to seek accountability on that front, and also are working with our clerks to ensure voters are aware of this programming issue that will require them to ensure they are voting every section on the ballot.
Bigger issue in Michigan because we do allow voters to cross over in ways that a lot of other states don't.
Because we have straight party, it's not struck me as I've talked to my other colleagues in other states. They're just as upset about it as we are.
Yeah. Rue Good Nurse said, there was this leak yesterday with passwords. I guess they were hosting passwords, I believe, on a Google document or on the website, and the passwords were there and then they were removed, something of that capacity. I didn't look too much into that story, but I did briefly see it last night. And I want to go back to this capital gains tax because me personally, I invest heavily into real estate, and that would absolutely destroy the investment portfolio. It would, I know definitely if the other side gets in, I definitely got to make some different money moves, 100%. In FEMA news, apparently the linemen have not been paid for 8 weeks. The linemen have been working in North Carolina, and a bunch of them haven't been paid from FEMA. But yet they can send a bunch of money to Ukraine.
They said they would come through with nothing being done. Well, the contract states that we would be paid next day, meaning that 14 days after our first invoice, we would start getting paid. So that means for anybody that was here from the 7th to the 13th, that should have been paid this Monday or Tuesday. We should have some type of money. We should have some type of purchase. They didn't pay it. They asked for another requirement stating, well, we need to use these codes and this has to be used. So we did that yesterday. We got that completed. We sent that in. Now they say, oh, well, from the 7th to the 13th, it's really such a mess. Why can't we just pay from the 13th on? And we're like, no, you're not gonna skip us on paying us for a week when we've been here for almost 8 weeks working every single day. It's nonstop. It's anywhere from 12 to 18 hours a day. We don't shower. I mean, most of us are tired. We just want to sleep. You know, and now we're going to get the sleep that we're due, but I'm not going to allow every single person here to look in this parking lot. They came for me. They came for my name. Everyone knows that my name goes with integrity. It goes. I mean, my motto is integrity is the benchmark for success. So everybody trusted me on my word. So when they think that I'm the one that's not doing it for them. So I called the news. I told everyone here to call the news. Everyone will sit there and verify that I told them to all call the news, to stand together, to put your buckets up in the air, to put up a stand, and that we will not move forward. We will not lift a finger until the money is sent to us and we can pay and take care of our families. Because our families have been waiting for 8 weeks. How many of you have missed paying your mortgage? How many?
It's crazy to me that they haven't paid these folks. I have a buddy out in Florida who's having some issues with you know, they're requiring specific workers to do the work on the properties that were destroyed. He owned a property out in Florida, and they're requiring specific individuals that are licensed through like restoration certified companies to remove simple things like a countertop, you know, which he's not, or the cabinets, which he's clearly not going to reuse because he had over 4.5 feet of water in his home. So you don't need a certified individual to destroy a cabinet. You know, it's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous. This is I saw this morning before I hit live, but I wanted to share this. I can't believe that they aired this, by the way.
Now to the United States, where Donald Trump is putting on a massive show in his hometown of New York City.
Tell me, I know that Kamala Harris seems to have a problem with young men. Why do you think that is?
Because she's stupid. I'm sorry for my language too, but she's an absolute idiot. The issue with Kamala Harris is she's scripted. The reason people love Trump is he made politics entertaining. Like when he talks, he might say some wild stuff, but you could tell it's from the heart.
Now to the United States.
It reminds me of this lady right here. Where's the Asian lady? How many of you guys seen the Asian lady?
You heard it right here, folks. 2024, folks.
Chinese. We're Chinese, first generation. We love Trump from our bottom of the heart because we know Trump is the only one can save America. Kamala is so stupid. She is so low. IQ equal no Q, no qualification to be the president. You shall stay away from that position. You already lost the position. You lost our trust. You lost our vote. You just need to go home, to stay home. You cannot do anything to save America. You are so stupid. You don't know anything. You cannot even answer any question.
That's exactly. So my grandma is from Germany. She was born in Germany, and actually she was born in Nazi Germany. She spent time in Germany during World War II. And I talked to her pretty frequently, and I asked her about the rhetoric that they're talking about Donald Trump, and she was like, "No way! This it's not even a comparison to what happened there to what or who Donald Trump is." And she says the exact same thing as this Asian lady. She goes in her German accent, you know, she's so stupid. She can't answer anything. Meanwhile, yesterday, I guess the White House selected particular kids to go trick-or-treating because it's a selection process. And like, what? He was biting. Like, who does this? Do any of your grandparents do this? My grandparents never did this. They never bit random or like munched on random kids' feet. Why? What is this? Like, what is this? It's gross. Who sniffing Joe? You know, there's definitely something very interesting when kids are selected to do Halloween, and there's I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here, I guess this is Jill in a panda outfit. Not 100% sure what that means. Alan says maybe it's a foot fetish. Yeah, it's just gross, you know? Like, I don't know. Why would somebody, like, what is this? Why would somebody do this? It's gross. Just in my personal opinion. It's weird. It's weird. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's weird. Let me run through these comments real quick. Tom says, taxing unrealized capital gains is nothing more than an attempt to borrow money from the future. Unfortunately, those in favor fail to realize the consequences 100%. Especially if there's properties involved. I'll probably get kind of boring here, but if there's properties involved, you know, generally you borrow money to acquire an asset, and then you pay property tax. Property tax doesn't go up as much as the appreciation does on a particular asset. And if you got to pay money for unrealized gains on a property that appreciated, let's say 20, 30% over the course of 5 years, you have to pay that. And generally you don't pay the gains until you sell, and you're going to have to borrow money to pay the taxes, which is absolutely, that would destroy the economy. That would absolutely destroy the economy. Rob says, if I did that to someone's kid, yeah. I you know, today's Halloween. In my neighborhood, we don't give out candy or anything like that. There's just, I live in an older neighborhood, so there's not a lot of kids. But if I did that to some kid that rang the doorbell, and I nibbled on his foot like Joe Biden, like, you know, that's I'd get slapped. Be like, yo, what are you doing? Rita says, thank you, Joe. Best Halloween treat ever I've gotten in my life. Never underestimate the rants. Yep. If you guys are catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. I'm going to jump on out of here because I am going to head out to the rally out here in Henderson, Nevada. There'll be a couple videos that'll be dropped today. But if you're catching us on replay, drop replay in the chat button. And I want to give a huge shout out to all the moderators in the chat. And shout out to everybody live in the chat, by the way. I'll be back later on today. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button. Rue, good nurse. I appreciate you. I hope I'm saying that first part right. Rue, good nurse. I appreciate you. I see you in the chat. I love it. I love it. So, guys, I am out of here. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button. Mods, give a round of applause to the mods. Some of the best mods in the business. Some of the best live chat on the YouTubes. Guys, we'll catch you on the next one. We'll chat soon.